I went to Svalbard in off-season, 10th to 16th of February, and I had the best time ever. Weather in Svalbard can be very unpredictable, and it was a big snowstorm a few days before I got there. Luckily for me, it kind of cleared off just when I got there, but you can still see loads of wind and snow. At 2:30 p.m. it looked like a nighttime. However, Svalbard was getting 40 minutes extra of daylight every day while I was there. This is 3 p.m. and you already can see how much darker it got in just 30 minutes. I stayed at Mary Ann's Polaric and it was the cutest place ever. Just look at it. Yes, I went out in this weather. I needed to get some snacks, so luckily supermarket wasn't too far. By 8 p.m. wind slowed down and it was nice and pretty. It was very dark and it was cold, but it was so amazing to be there. 9:16 in the morning. On my first full day, I went to explore. I wanted to find a gym and just see around. This is at 10:21 in the morning. Polar bears live on Svalbard and you're not supposed to leave the town without the gun. There is a sign at the end of the town which you shouldn't cross. I done a little circle around it and it felt a little illegal, but hey, I was safe. I sat here for quite a while enjoying the views. It was very, very cold, so luckily I have a thermos and I brought my cup of tea with me. It is nearly midday, 11:53. Longyearbyen is not that big of a town and you can see most of it from here. That's where I'm staying. At 2:51 on day 2, it's already so much lighter. It's very quiet with all the snow until you see some big tractor. 4:39 p.m. It's already nighttime. The next day I went to Old Mine and it was absolutely incredible experience. I really enjoyed it. Most stunning view outside the coal mine. Just look at this scenery. It's breathtaking. So much respect to these miners who worked under these circumstances and extreme conditions. It was a very hard job and I was so glad to learn more about it. I got to see and haul the tools miners used to use while working there and crawl into the space where they used to work, which was very tight squeeze. The reindeer on Svalbard look so cute. They're still wild animals, so don't get close to them, but observe from a distance and enjoy the scenery. There is a husky farm. Oh. In the evening, I went aurora hunting. Unfortunately, we couldn't see it, so we decided to drive and look at Svalbard. A lot of countries keeps the reserve of seats in this vault. While we were there, aurora started to appear, and I never seen anything like that in my life. I have seen few auroras before, but this one was extremely bright and it was swirling all around the sky. Unfortunately, I dropped and broke my phone, so I couldn't take any videos, but my guy took this absolutely stunning picture of me and aurora. Yay! The next morning, I had a tour to an ice cave. However, due to the snowstorm a few days ago, the cave was snowed in. We still climbed up there and saw most beautiful scenery. The skies were pink and such a beautiful color. We also saw so much snow and managed to go to a different ice cave.
I just want to see the gate, like the little games it does with the lights.
Right, it's ice. It looks so cool. It looks like it's a stone, but it's not. It's just ice. A little dusty.
Yeah, it is. It's like dirt ice.
Yeah. Guides were trying to get to the entry to the other cave. However, even without going there, the views were absolutely amazing and I would highly recommend this hike. However, don't go alone, bring the gun. My tour was organized by Snow Fox Travel, and even though we couldn't do everything what was planned on the itinerary, I had most amazing time. As we couldn't get into Ice Cave, we had time to drive outside the town to look at the beautiful scenery. Pink skies in the evening and in the morning just make this place look so amazing. This is February, the time when the sun doesn't come up above the horizon. I mean, just look at this view. The sky was such a beautiful color. It looked like the most beautiful sunset. However, sun never risen above the horizon that day. Only on the day before my last day in Svalbard, sun risen above the horizon on the east coast. You couldn't see it from Longyearbyen though, and some locals made the trip to the east coast to greet the sun. And this is at 4:20 p.m. You can see how much lighter it already got in only a few days. As I mentioned before, it gets lighter by 40 minutes every single day. The next morning I went on a trip to Barentsburg. It was really scenic drive through the mountains and the valleys. There was a lot of snow and beautiful pink skies in the morning. It was my first ever ride on snowmobile and I got hooked. I would highly recommend snowmobile trip while you're on Svalbard. I didn't see it then, but what is that black spot in the sea? Oh, look at that! Barentsburg is a small coal mining town in the west of Svalbard. Around 300 people live there and they have all they need to live here. all year round. There is a church, post office, gym, cafeteria. Small community has been living there for many years now.
Behind me, this is the office, and the post office. This is where I work, where all the tourism stuff happens. Behind me, that greyish building is the handicraft center. So there's women who sit there and they do sewing and they make things, and that's kind of if something's, if I have an issue with my jacket or whatever.
I mean, not much to do here. This is 4 p.m. Dark, quiet, no one's around. As this is Russian territory, you can get your passport stamped at post office. I really enjoyed my trip to Barentsburg. It was very interesting to see how people live in such a remote locations. The trip there was quite extreme. It took quite a few hours to get there and return back, and it actually started to snow while we were driving back during the darkness. It was filmed at only 6 p.m., but it was already pitch black like in nighttime. At the time of my trip, only company which would go to Barentsburg was Ruski Dom, which means Russian house. I wasn't lying when I said that the snowmobile trip got me hooked. Next morning I booked myself on a trip to the glacier on east coast of Svalbard. I went with Svalbard Adventures and it was great company. I really enjoyed my trip. We saw so much and it was such a pretty drive, although quite extreme.
This is crazy nice.
So pretty. This morning the sun has risen, however you couldn't see it from Longyearbyen, but the light looked so pretty and it made mountains look spectacular. Our guide had to prepare his gun for the trip.
It's very nice to half load with the bolt action rifle. That's what we do. We open the bolt. We take a look inside the chamber. I see that there is no bullet in the chamber. So I close. And then of course, had there been a bullet in the chamber now, when I pull the trigger it would say bump. Since I don't, it says click. And then you can notice I can press and nothing will happen unless I actually operate the bolt. So there is no chance of me now getting a bullet in the chamber unless I operate it. And hence no chance of a misfire or a vådeskudd, as we say in Norwegian. So then when I find my little magazine here with 30-06 all military ammunition with the leaded tip, is called in English. Basically means that they will expand, and I now fit that into the magazine. Now I have a half-loaded gun, so I have bullets in the gun, but not in the chamber. But it's very, very safe to use and no chance of a misfire. And there is no need for me to use the safety.
I never seen so much undisturbed snow. Everywhere you look is white, especially with a cloudy sky. It was so hard to distinguish where is ground and where is sky. I felt so little. We were going to drive on top of the glacier, but at the beginning of it we saw this big ice rock, ice shard, whatever you want to call it. It was such a breathtaking structure and I have never seen anything like that. You can actually walk inside it and the walls were made all of ice. It was just so pretty. Of course, the nature is always changing, and as is this ice, it might not be here soon. I was so lucky to see it. As we started to drive further down, the weather got worse and worse, and we actually ended up in the whiteout. You couldn't see far ahead, but it was extremely interesting to drive through these conditions. Perhaps a little bit dangerous, but we had really good guides who kept us safe. And somehow, the places where you could die the easiest make you feel the most alive. Driving here in these extreme conditions was so much fun. As we were driving on top of a glacier, we had to be very careful not to fall into crevices. Our guides made the route and we had to follow it. If we stopped, we had to stay on top of our snowmobile, and this spreads the weight and is less chances to fall in. It was extreme, but it was fun. Lucky for us, the snowstorm cleared off. We could see the mountains again and enjoy the scenery while driving to the glacier. After checking the safety and thickness of sea ice, our guides took us closer to the glacier. We still had to stay far away from the edge of the glacier in case it breaks off. Not only it could fall on top of us, it could also damage sea ice and pull us under the water. My snowmobile was covered in snow all over. Our guide wanted to show us the thickness of the ice using this drill. Unfortunately for him, the drill got stuck. He did get it out in the end, but we couldn't see how thick the ice was. It was much thicker than the drill. We stayed on the sea for a while watching the glacier. We had lunch there and just enjoyed the scenery. The ice looked so pretty in all shades of blue and gray.
Extreme today.
Many pictures here and enjoyed the view, and look at me, how excited I am! Yay! On our way back, we stopped at this beautiful lookout. It was such a breathtaking view, and we saw the last of the sunlight before we drove back in the darkness. Without wind and humans, this place would be absolutely silent. And this is the route we did. The next morning was my last day in Svalbard. I had to leave at midday, therefore I got up nice and early and went to the gym. I took loads of pictures on my way and enjoyed the scenery for the very last time while I was there. I absolutely loved Svalbard and I will definitely return. Perhaps in the summertime, autumn, but wintertime was also really, really pretty. There is my room. I just love the crunchy sound of the snow.
Ganske likt da, men da tenker jeg jo nettopp at det litt av hensikten å holde våre tanker avskilt fra det virkelige samfunn, fordi de kan være farlige.
Most moving gym in the world. Here you go. Bye. This is kindergarten at school, or just kindergarten maybe, and I saw kids playing here in minus temperatures and in the darkness. But it was their daytime. Do not take pictures or videos while kids are at school. This was out of hours. And these used to be used to transport coal, some sort of cart system. These are fake. I mean, they're real trees, they just frozen, they don't grow here, they just been put here for decoration, which makes it very cute. There's no trees on Svalbard. Not expect this view when we took off. Always book a window seat. It was most breathtaking view, wide vastness of snow and the pink sky. And there is all of Longyearbyen. It amazes me that places like this exist, and I'm so glad I'm lucky enough to be able to see them. I hope I return to Longyearbyen and Svalbard soon. And after a week, I saw the sun again.